and wears boxers, I do not feel like some people are like, oh dude, it feels free. It's like, no, my balls feel like they are without support. There's nothing holding them, you know, like,
I think it's because mine are excessively saggy and they need to sway like a pendulum.
That's fair. I mean,
No.
Some people need their balls to swing, and like I need them to do that in very specific situations, but like not all the time. So like I wear fucking like regular boxer briefs.
Yeah, I have some of those, and it's just like, yeah, I can't. I don't like the feeling of it being all up in my shit.
I don't like.
When I was a child, I wore like tighty whities.
Right, but tighty whities aren't boxer briefs. Boxer briefs have a like the the shape and form of boxer briefs are less like it's like supportive. It's just like a little net, like a little hammock from a twig and berries. You know what I mean? As opposed to like, you know, this loose fabric that like every like fifth step my dick brushes against.
So you know what it is? Like, instead of a hammock, it's like a wizard's cloak.
Yes.
Or like a bathrobe, where it's kind of free, you know, but it's still comfortable. I don't know. I switched to using regular boxers like in like, I guess like middle school. Just never went back, and I've tried boxer briefs, and I just don't like the compressed feeling at all. I cannot open docs now on this computer, dude. Everything's going wrong with me today.
Just be hacker man and have two computers.
I do have two computers.
No, but I mean, use both of them. Double hack.
Right.
Oh, that's a JonTron joke. Now I'm sad. Oh, that hurt me. That one hurt.
Don't panic. There we go. All right.
Like before we get we start recording things. Oh God, I'm recording. I'm still gonna end up sending.
I've been recording this, so I recorded our entire underwear thing.
Nice. All right, fair enough. Fuck it. So do you know who JonTron is?
I know the name.
So he was a YouTube content creator. I think he still is. I don't follow him anymore, but like a few years back, he was talking with Destiny, and like he just started saying a whole bunch of like white nationalist talking points and propaganda. And
I know exactly who this is. He's like the bigger dude with like the sort of neck beard, dark hair.
Yep.
Yeah, I know exactly who that is. Actually, yeah.
I really loved like his gaming content. He made some really funny shit, you know, and it just kind of sucked. It sucked so hard because like I'm mad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, and you know, it really put a sour taste on all of his work for me.
But you find out one of your favorite content creators is like ass.
Yeah, they're just a shit person.
Yeah, I had a situation like that. It wasn't because he was like an ass or like a bad person, but the podcast that I showed you, Tiny Meat Gang. One of the like the second half of it, like the other half of it, Cody, the white guy. He's basically kind of, he has a big platform. You know, he's got millions of followers. They have tens of thousands of followers on Patreon. Like they're big at this point. And he said and did little to nothing about when the protests were happening and all that. Yeah. You know, like on his social media, he felt like, oh, I don't want to, like the vibe that I got was, I don't want to compromise my social media and my platform to do this. Meanwhile, the other half of it, Noel was making videos. He was saying like, hey, all these live streams are going to get donated to the Black Visions Collective, who I'm partnering with. I'm going to match whatever we
utilizing his platform.
Yeah, and the only thing that Cody did was he did the Blackout Tuesday. And he got dragged in the comments. They're like, dude, you've been silent for like a week, and then this is all you do?
Right. You know it's bare minimum. And like I think this is a really interesting like point in history too, because like there's been this argument of like get woke, go broke, right? That a bunch of reactionaries were putting out there at first when they started getting really angry about like Ghostbusters and like fucking female Captain Marvel and Black Panther and all that. Like, oh, you're not going to make any money from this. As soon as you do this, you're going to alienate your fan base. And it's actually, becoming more and more apparent that it's quite the opposite. Like we are seeing, what was it? I think Taco Bell's stock dropped, like, or their parent company, I think like Yum or whatever.
Yeah, Yum. Yeah.
After like a very quick like Twitter spat or a situation regarding their workers wearing like political stuff, their stocks like took an immediate hit once they took that anti protest movement stance. And with Cody Ko, what's his name?
Cody Ko, yeah.
Cody Ko.
His real last name is College Jesse, like long, so he goes by Ko.
Okay, gotcha. So Cody Ko. I mean, his like fence sitting and then very surface level support for what's going on is that's going to hurt his brand. Like it just like you can see that like objectively and materially, it's actually becoming more and more financially detrimental to not take the principled stance.
And I think that's because our generation and Gen Z are old enough and large enough to have a financial influence. That wasn't the case 10 years ago.
Right.
But now, absolutely. You look at millennials, the youngest millennials, like 24, 25. And then, you have Gen Z immediately after that. They're going into college. They're in college. They've graduated college. They're in high, like all of my students who are in high school, so between the ages of 14 and 18, they know who Cody Ko is. That's a large age range of his fan base.
Yep.
So we're at the point now where, especially because social media figures like that, like influencers who have a platform like that aren't older, it's all going to lean toward the left. And you look at what happened with Trump's Tulsa rally.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok.
Dude, Gen Z.
Yeah.
Gen Z fucking did it. Like, bunch of TikTok goobers. I can't say TikTok goobers. I'm a fucking TikTok goober. But like, no, I mean, I myself, I signed up for the Trump rally. I took my little shot, and it was really funny because like I remember my girlfriend was like, "Don't do that. You're helping him. This isn't going to do anything." And it's like, no, we fucked him up.
Yeah.
These kids know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. And so like they're old enough and aware enough to take stances on things, mm-hmm. And this has been a trend starting with our generation. I'd say, I don't know about Gen X, maybe Gen X, but things have been, as far as like social views go, things have been trending left. The millennial generation and the Gen Z generation are a lot farther left than the previous generations ever were.
Yeah.
As a whole, So, that's a big part of it. So yeah, brands really need to it's surface level bullshit to do Blackout Tuesday as a brand, to post a BLM thing, to post, to change your logo for Pride. It's all crap. But I mean, you're basically at the point where as a brand, you need to do that. Otherwise, it'll be an issue. And the thing is, like, it doesn't hurt to do that either. You know, like you can, and you know, you'll get dragged for doing.
Is a net positive. At the end of the day, representation is positive. Well, it's a double-edged sword, to be perfectly honest. Sorry, I got distracted by the dust on this thing again, so I just needed to do this.
Yeah, that's fine. But it is.
So
it is like
So I just want to finish this thought. It's a double-edged sword in the sense that, like, one, representation matters. It's absolutely a great thing that there are, people trying to tell more diverse stories, trying to be inclusive. Like, that's grand. However, it's important to also understand that there is very little substance behind it. Because there is also, while there is inclusion, there is also co-opting of language and stances that can, when it comes from a place that's like nefarious, i.e. a capitalist, organization, like say Coca-Cola or Bank of America getting in on Pride or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we have to be weary. And we don't allow them to just turn this into turn things like Pride and like Juneteenth into shit like American St. Patty's Day. You know?
Yeah, change it into a capitalist endeavor.
Exactly.
Make it about, this is a day that we offer deals and you spend money.
Exactly.
Yeah, which they're absolutely going to try to do.
Huh? Oh yeah, most certainly.
Because that's
Nike already does that.
Do. Yeah.
Like every major holiday and event, Nike makes a shoe for. There's a Valentine's Day shoe. There's a fucking there's a Black History Month release of like exclusives and whatnot. I bought I think it was the Ryan Beckford SBs. I think it was Ryan Beckford.
They're gonna drop some leather shoes and call them the Harriet Tubman Railroad 11s.
I'm done. I would imagine communism becomes so profitable that Jordan creates a bread 11, not BRED like black and red, but BREAD, bread 11, and they're gonna have a fucking decal of Kropotkin on the fucking side.
Oh my god!
Yes, I need that custom made. There's got to be some Marxist like shoe designer guy that can make those for me.
The logo changes to Jordan dunking a hammer and sickle.
No, it's Marx with a hammer and sickle.
Oh no.
I love it. That's
a good art project right there, actually. Like a modern art project.
Oh man, I'm like, oh
my god. You know how when people line up for Jordans?
Yes.
It'll be a bread line. Oh god.
Oh my god, I think I could turn that into a "Don't Leave Me" TikTok. Have you
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah, I've seen those.
You have a line for breads. Bread line.
No, don't leave me. Don't take me with you. Oh my god.
Oh god. That's funny as shit.
Yeah, I've seen those. That's one of my favorite trends, actually. Right now.
It's so good. It's like it's the when it's done right, it's got the perfect like level of dad joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's like the added twist is it's like it's like African or whatever
I don't that point to me is that's silly. You can make a "Don't Leave Me" joke without doing the African fucking accent.
Right. Well, I think it stems from an original. That's why they do that.
Oh yeah. Like I think it was like from African TikTok.
Yeah.
Like literally, like there were African people on TikTok making those jokes. But like, no, but I just think it's great because it's like, you know, like the dad joke thing where you make like a stupid pun and super relatable. Everyone makes those stupid ass jokes and grand.
The only pun I don't appreciate. The only pun I don't appreciate is using punny as a pun for funny. It's the only one I don't like. That's unacceptable at this point because you can do better.
Well, I think it's sarcastic. It's the sarcastic fucking very punny.
Yeah. I don't know. I think but I think also
I don't like when people. I think we're probably in agreement here. I don't like when people use that as a joke. Yeah, but I do like using it to signify when someone has made a bad pun, like very punny. I get it.
Yeah. Because I mean, I think puns also need to be clever. So they're always rolling around in my head.
In a box, Xbox.
No, don't leave me.
That also works as like Lil Wayne. It's just the Lil Wayne meme.
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, bro.
That really like I don't think it was a small window, but for a little while there were people who were just making bars like that. Whereas like, well, yeah, I think it was Lil Wayne, but I think Nicki did it for a little while.
People would like mock the Lil Wayne voice, and they would go like, "Yeah, she was fine, like a ticket on my dashboard." Young Johnny.
Put my grandma in a nursing home in Torino. Call that Gran Torino.
It's so stupid. Young Money. I'm a big fan of whiteboards, right? Because I find them quite remarkable.
Stupid. Oh, God. Anyway, we should probably do the intro.
Hold on. Young Money. How much money does a pirate pay for corn?
How much?
A buccaneer. Yo, we're 17 minutes deep. We haven't done the intro.
Great start to the podcast.
Absolutely. All right. Welcome to Don't Panic Podcast. We are a podcast. I'm Jed. That's Misha. Mikhail. And our goal is to create engaging discussions about social issues, politics, news, current events from a leftist standpoint through analysis and humor. This isn't going to be like CNN, it's just two dudes who happen to be leftists that will be talking on shit, and we have no authority, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. There's plenty of people who have no authority on the matter, but we're gonna do our best to keep ourselves as informed as possible, because the resources are out there, and we'll do our best to also aggregate links, interesting topics, stuff like that. That's actually a thing I didn't think about. We should like start creating different Google Docs that we can like of just stuff that we talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've done pages for episode ideas and stuff, but yeah, we can definitely do that. Also, it'll allow us to put in links, click stuff, and have sources, because I want to use analysis. I don't want to be like, just here's my opinion, and like that's it, because there's too much of that. We're not going to be leftist Joe Rogan. I don't care about that. By the way, you ever tried DMT? Or...
Hey, dude, you ever done DMT?
Hey, Jamie, can we get the video of that deer getting hit by that truck? It's crazy.
That's crazy, dude. What's funny is I actually have done DMT. That's it's fun. But we're gonna edit that out.
I'm not straight edge, but the only thing I've ever tried was like weed, and I've done it like less than 10 times in my life.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so we have a Patreon. We would love it if you subscribed. Right now, we're just trying to gain some traction, but we're going to be working hard on this. We're actually going to put our effort in. I was a little late today, but we recorded early in the morning. I have to get up. It's very hard for me, and so I was going to go down the tiers, the Patreon tiers. So patreon.com/don't panic pod. Is it Don't Panic Pod or Don't Panic Podcast? Uh-oh. I should figure that out before I start advertising it.
Make sure we've got the right links.
It will be in the description of all of our videos. It's Don't Panic Podcast. No, it's Don't Panic. Damn it, dude. I actually don't know. Hold on.
Oh, my God.
We're good. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Patreon. Oh, my God. What? Okay, hold on. I have to go to something to figure it out.
Oh my God.
Hold on. We're getting there.
Yep. Oh God, that should be our fucking intro music.
Patreon.com/Don't Panic Podcast. I typed that into the URL and it didn't come up.
Oh my God.
That's not my fault. That's not my fault.
Hey, it happens.
All right, yeah. So patreon.com/Don't Panic Podcast. Please consider it. We will be creating benefits. Right now, we're just releasing episodes as they are, but we're going to create a format that I've seen used on a lot of other podcasts where we release early content, and then the free content will be a week later, and then we'll also be releasing bonus episodes monthly. And of course, if you're just doing free content, you don't get access to those. So right now, our first tier is $5 a month, and it's called Feeling Relaxed. All right, you're not freaking out, you're not panicking, feeling good. You just want to listen to two dudes just literally vibing. So this is a general support tier. If you just like what we're doing, you get access to the ad-free content. So when we post episodes that are on Patreon, they will not have ad content like they will on Facebook. Not Facebook, sorry, YouTube. I am everywhere right now. They won't have ads.
Yep.
And we will have edited versions also that if we ever get brand deals, you won't have to listen to our brand deals. You get access to episodes weekly, early access. So when we drop an episode, which is typically Saturdays, the day after we record, you will get it immediately. If you are not subscribed to the Patreon, you get it a week later. And then you get immediate access to the bonus episode archive. So if you subscribe in the future and we have a handful of bonus episodes available, you will get to listen to all of those as well. So that's Feeling Relaxed. The second one is Kind of Anxious, right? Mm-hmm. You feel the need to, you listen to us in the mornings because getting a little anxious on the way to work, you're getting a little anxious about what's going on in the world, and you need our voices too. Just to bring you down to zero. This is an added support tier. You get everything in the other tier. Every tier we talk about, you get all the previous stuff as well. You will be able to engage with us on Discord. This is a future
Unlike PlayStation, we have real backwards compatibility.
So yeah, we're gonna, we get enough traction, we will set up a Discord, and then you'll be able to interact with us personally there. We will hop on there. We'll probably have days where we're gonna hop on and just talk to people and stuff. You get access to bonus episodes monthly. Early access. I'm not reading the early. I'm missing that in the stuff I personally wrote down. I did this too. So that's even worse. You get early access to the bonus content, which is you get access to the bonus episode when it drops immediately, not a month later. You get access to polls, so you can vote on content, what we discuss and / react to, guests we have on. So if there's something that you want us to talk about, but then there's like someone you want us to have on to talk about those things, you can vote on those things, and we plan on doing all of it. As much as we can, at least, but it might not be at the top of the queue, Yeah, so that's kind of anxious. Next one is freaking out! Exclamation point at the end. Right. You get access to everything before. Yeah, you get discounts on merch, which is also a feature thing and gain enough traction. I might do this anyway, regardless of what kind of traction we get. But I've been wanting to create a line of merch and clothing, like activist merch and clothing, that is also like good looking and design friendly. Because a lot of the stuff I see is like, yeah, like I support BLM. I don't really care for that. Like it looks like the Straight Outta Compton thing. You know what I mean? Also because that got really overdone when Straight Outta Compton came out and they had like that meme template for it.
Right.
You know, and now you just see people, you know, like stands in the mall that are just like straight out of Jersey, or like I bought this in Ohio. Like it just says dumb shit, you know, or like Thorny Park or something dumb like that, you know. So I've wanted to create like just a line of activist merch that you know, portions of that merch can go to those causes. So if it's Black Lives Matter, if it's Black Visions Collective, if it's just trying to think of what else,
like bail funds, things like that.
Yeah, like bail funds. You know, I wanted to do one for the White Rose Society, which was an anti-fascist student-led organization in Germany at the time of the rise of the Third Reich, and things like that. You know, want to do that. So regardless of what kind of traction we get in this, I might just do that anyway. But when I do it and we have it, you will get discounts on it, and then you can
less
plug
money to us, more money to the causes.
Yeah, anything that we make activist wise will go toward, like a portion of that will go towards those. And then you can plug your business / endeavor on the show. So whether you're an entrepreneur and you're starting something, you make something and sell it on Etsy, or you're trying to start out as a streamer, you make music, it doesn't matter. Like whatever it is that
you juggle bacon grease and you want to get your bacon grease juggling out to other bacon grease jugglers, like doesn't matter. You get to this tier and we got your back. We will feature you on our show.
That, or you just create content on Instagram or TikTok or something like that. It's not something major.
Exactly.
But you want followers? Yeah, we'll plug that for you. We'll do a 30-second plug for you. So yeah, that's freaking out. Next one, $50 per month is We're in the Bad Place. So which we are. I think we're about there right now.
I'm feeling there.
Yeah. This is super duper additional support tier. Because if $50 a month is that's a cable bill, you know. Be a guest on our show.
Yes.
Yeah. And Mikhail will do a dance for you.
I will do a dance for you.
And he'll put it on his TikTok. But yeah, be a guest on our show. It's a tribute dance. It'll be sexy. You remember that grind on me trend?
No.
Grind on me. It was just that song, and I think it was Vine or Musically when they did. I think it was Musically, and it was just that song, and then it was just videos of like just shirtless dudes in basketball shorts, just like grinding on like ottomans and shit.
Yep. They do like a really bad dolphin dive and like try and like hump the floor. I was just like, what is happening here?
Yeah,
I'm gonna do a lot of that. It's gonna look a lot like what was that? No. It's not, hey pretty baby with the high heels on. That's not the song. Which Michael Jackson video does he fucking like step? He's like out in an alleyway and he's like stepping around on shit and then he like lights up, like when he steps the fucking floor lights up.
Oh jeez. This is a cool search. Alleyway floor light music video. Uh-oh. YouTube's not helping me out here.
I'm going to find it. Give me 2 seconds.
All right. I'll keep going. I'll keep going down the tiers. So for We're in the Bad Place, $50 a month, be a guest on our show. So you're not. We won't just plug your your thing. You can come on here and you can talk about it, and you can talk about a cause that you're really into. In our first episode, we had Cal and Easy Boo on, and they spoke about their Facebook page, Subtle Asian Racism. It would be like that. Come on, talk with us, etc., and then plug whatever it is you're doing. Then the last tier is $100 per month. You are insane for doing this. But I figured I'd throw the option out there for.
That is the way you make me feel.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah.
Yep, I was right.
So yeah, you get access to all previous tier benefits. Also, a photo of you that you send to us will be framed and put on our walls. Mm-hmm. So it'll be in the background of all of our videos while we're doing this remotely. It will be in the background of each of ours separately. And then when we are reunited in person, it'll be in the background between us. We plan on getting a setup. We'll figure it out, but a setup where we can put down 2 chairs and we can set up audio equipment and a camera, and we can, and then it'll be between us, and it'll have I'll create a little gold plaque for it as well on the frame, and it'll say your name and it'll say, the date you subscribed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it could be. It doesn't even have to be a photo of you. It could be any photo that you choose to represent yourself. No genitals, though.
Oh, yeah. It will have to be a certain level of PG.
Yeah.
Also,
it has to be safe for work.
Yeah. Also, no like pay either. I won't do that. We will also we'll filter slightly. Yeah. Because we don't fuck with alt-right propaganda.
No, we don't. But we do fuck with the Manny, and the Manny will not be televised.
Do
you know about the Manny?
The Manny? No.
The Manny will not be televised, bro. No, it's a new symbol from. See, I'm hip with the youth.
Oh God.
No, but like there's this like cool little thing that I've been seeing on TikTok over and over, where they're using like kind of an altered version of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, as like a symbol for like ACAB and like Black Lives Matter and
okay.
People are just like posting it and using the audio, like them like drawing it somewhere or like graffitiing it somewhere and using the audio. The Manny will not be televised, and like I don't know. I personally fuck with it. Like everything that Gen Z is doing is so fucking hardcore. I love them,
including hating on millennials.
It's beautiful. They've learned well. They have learned well.
Millennials be 35 and be like, I'm a Hufflepuff. Like, no, Karen, you drink wine at 12 in the afternoon and you're unemployed.
Oh, they're gonna kill us. Oh, I will say though, I'm just gonna real quick toot my own horn. Beep beep. I made a TikTok making fun of millennials, and a couple Gen Zs were like, "You're an honorary Gen Z," and I was like, "They're like, when we take over the government, you can be one of our spies." I was like, "What?"
You're invited to whatever the Gen Z equivalent to a cookout is, but I don't. The problem is we've done.
I'm invited to a Zoom call. Where we.
You're invited to a TikTok house because I don't think.
I am in a TikTok house.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, your TikTok house got recognized by the TMG podcast.
The TMG podcast?
Yeah. So what happened was like 5 or 6 episodes. 5 or 6 episodes ago, they were talking about the Hype House, right?
Okay.
And then they were like, "Dude, it'd be funny is if there was a TikTok house called the Simp Hype House, like the TikTok Simp Hype House or whatever, right?"
Yeah.
And it was just a bunch of just middle-aged white dudes like poorly doing the dances,
right.
the
yeah,
right. But it's like middle-aged dudes in like Geek Squad polos,
yeah,
like that kind of thing.
Right.
Like definitely just had like Easy Mac for dinner because like you can't really do anything else. Like that kind of thing. And then a couple episodes later, Noel was like, "Dude, there's a Simp Hype House on TikTok." Like,
oh shit.
Yeah. And they were talking about it, and so Cody was like, "Oh, it's like a bunch of dudes in a house." Like, no, it's not like that. It's not exactly like that. But it's like a bunch of like middle-aged guy creators like funnily doing like trends and shit like that, and like dances and stuff. He's like, but they're individual. But they talked about it for like 5 minutes.
I need to see what they said because like one, none of us are middle aged. Only two of us are actually millennials. The rest are a bunch of Gen Z kids. But I want to see.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find the episode. They didn't like criticize it or say anything specific, but they were just kind of laughing about its existence. And then they were like they kind of called it. He was like, dude,
yeah.
Because I think when he called it was like right around the time when you guys started doing it. So
that's funny. What's their podcast called? Oh wait, I'm getting distracted. So back to the task at hand. What are we doing? What are we talking about?
Oh yeah, finishing the tier. So yeah, the $100 tier is called "The World Is on Fire." We're getting there. We are getting there. Australia was on fire, but we're getting there. I said you're insane for doing this. You get a photo of you, or a photo you choose that is acceptable. Is framed and put on our walls. We will be open to pretty much anything that's not like hate propaganda and just like your labia.
No dicks, no buttholes, please.
Yeah.
I do not want to see your bussy.
Your pussy. If it's a Photoshopped thing, and we can still make it out, if it's like a flag with arrows pointing in all directions for unity, but it looks like an anus and it says "E pluribus anus" on it, I won't do it. Or maybe I probably will actually. But
no, that's fine. If you ask for the community flag to go up, that's going up.
I want one.
I actually want that flag.
Yeah, so do I.
I want that flag.
Incredibly, E pluribus. It's amazing. And then you get to record an intro message for one of our casts. So normally we'll have an intro message. We didn't do it this time. We started talking about underwear. That's fine. And normally it'll be something like, welcome to the Don't Panic podcast. Here's what we talk about. Here's who we are. Consider subscribing to our Patreon. You'll get to have those 30 to 45 seconds. And then you can choose whatever goes into it. If you just want to go cock, it's fine.
That's beautiful.
Speaking of which, that TikTok creator, I don't remember his name, but I love his content because that's all it is.
Just him going cock.
Yeah, he. That trend where it's like vape, no, and then it's something else.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like, so he always has like a ukulele. So he was just like, vape, no, ukulele, and then he goes, bring cock.
Awesome. I have to find that. That sounds like my kind of content.
It's very it's short, so it's very reminiscent of Vine, which is sort of like, in my opinion, was like peak millennial humor. And oh my god, dude, my Gen Z students don't understand why Vine was funny. They don't get it. They're like, it was so short, and I'm like, that's the genius.
Yeah.
But they're
if
like,
you tell a punchline in 6 seconds, then it's gold. Road work ahead. I sure hope it does. Like, yeah, beautiful.
That tells a whole story. And he's driving, and he makes the face.
Right. Jesus. Hurricane Katrina, more like Hurricane Tortilla. I think that's weird. That is weird that your students are like that because, for the most part, like all before COVID, my main source of income was doing like bar mitzvahs and stuff. And the easiest way for me to relate to those kids was to learn like, Vine jokes. Like I used to know so much. I would just watch Vine compilations, a couple of days before the party, get caught up for whatever the meme of the month was. And then bada bing, bada boom. They were all about it. And those kids, I think, are considered Gen Z. And they're probably all like graduating high school and shit by now because that was like 5 years ago. But like,
there were some TikToks that like they thought were funny, but like the overall, they're like, it would have been funnier if they had that full minute and they could have fleshed out and like there are some TikToks, that I enjoy and that I find funny, and some creators, like what's his name? Oh my gosh. I follow him. I only follow 16 people. I'm not very good at this.
Dude, I follow almost 900. It's so stupid.
Young Jack Inanen. He's just like a comedian. He's a Canadian. Like, I like his content, and he usually uses the full minute. It's pretty good. But sometimes when skits like that are playing out, I sometimes feel like this has gone on too long. Like, the joke has already been said, and now you're just kind of using that joke to continue it. And I'm like, so part of me even feels like if this was shorter and you cut it off right when the punchline was, it would be funnier, not having a punchline and climax and then continuing on a plateau. You know?
I just happen to really like punchy humor, like very, very quick things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing with my necklace right now, but
I don't have a necklace.
I know. Why you got a necklace, candy boy? But no, I find I kind of noticed that. Like, I like punchier humor, and there was I see memes getting revived to a certain degree on TikTok. Like, there was this line from, I think it was like a rap battle from like 3 or 4 years ago. I don't think it was an official thing. I think it was maybe just like some guys on the street or whatever, or it was some dude's like song. I think it was a song, but it came out a few years ago, and the line is like, "I'm colder than a lion with no hair. Have you ever seen me in a fight with a grizzly bear? Help the bear!"
Yeah,
right?
I've seen that. Yeah,
yeah, and that was a joke, like, from a couple of years ago, and like the only bit that people would talk about was like that. You know, if you ever see me in a fight with a grizzly bear, help the bear. And that would be like cut off there. But now I'm seeing like the meme go on to like after the grizzly bear, and he's like, "Cause that bitch gonna need it," and I'm like, that.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, the grizzly bear part, hilarious. End it there. And I've already laughed, but then you've got to finish out that like 15 seconds,
yeah,
or whatever. But you know, at the same time, like, while it is a joke that was told before with like my own context, the new context is different. And so, you know, the inclusion of that little bit is probably just like, you know, fucking generational thing. Slight change.
It's like using a sample. Like, I get it, but I think it just has to do with my kind of humor. Like, if you look at my like stand up, I love stand up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my style of stand up is very punchy and quick that I enjoy, where they don't ramble on the same kind of topic for too long. Like, R.I.P. because he's dead to me, but like Louis C.K. was like, before, you know, he was really like one of my favorite stand-ups. I think he was probably one of the best stand-up comedians just in general.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like his ability to tell a joke, his demeanor, like the faces he made, like just it was great. And he was very fast. He would do this nice little setup, and he would talk about something, and then it would be like, here's the joke, and then we're on to the next thing. You know, like one of my favorite ones is he's talking about where he grabs a cabin with his daughters in the woods, right?
Right.
And, you know, they do nice things, like they see a deer and blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, he talks about how there's like a bat at night in the kitchen, right? And he's scared of the bat. And so he calls, you know, the cops, and they get him to an operator and all this stuff. And his first joke for that part was he's just like, there's a bat, you know, like, there's a bat in my kitchen. I need someone to come out and get it, you know. And then the joke is like, and then the woman who was very nice in this old country town responds, and she's like, yeah, you know, we have a guy who can come out, he can do it, he can get rid of the bat for you. And the joke is, it seems like she was trying really hard not to say Batman, you know?
Yeah.
And then the, you know, the second part of the joke is just, you know, the exterminator shows up, and I open the door, I'm like crawling on the ground. He's like, you know, and I'm like in there. It's like, so the Batman walks into the kitchen, right? And he just goes, takes it, nods at me, and leaves. And that's the end. And then he goes on to the next joke, and it doesn't touch on that joke at all. That joke is gone. You know what I mean?
Right.
There are callbacks sometimes. Like Louis C.K. was up there. I don't watch his content anymore, for obvious reasons. I really like John Mulaney. I didn't like John Mulaney to start because I was like, dude, this guy sounds weird. But he really grew on me. Like Michael Che is like up there. Jim Gaffigan is up there for me. You know, I don't like shock humor guys. Like I don't like Tosh.0 or Daniel Tosh. I just called him by his TV show. I don't like Anthony Jeselnik. I don't like guys that are just like, you know what's funny? You know, if I just say something really offensive, that's what's funny.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, no, that's not. That's like white dudes who think saying the N-word is funny out of the blue. Like, you know, and they just
like, why is that funny?
Yeah. So like, I don't care about that kind of humor. I enjoy humor that really requires like, I don't know, like a certain level of setup and thought.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, one of my favorite comedians is this guy Christopher Titus. He borders. He's kind of like a boomer. I mean, he is. He's like in his 50s now.
Yeah.
But he's been doing comedy since like the 90s, and for the most part, when it comes to like he's a very political comedian. He talks about, you know, issues of like, you know, race, politics, his kids, his family. Like he's got like he had a really like kind of crazy childhood and whatnot, but he tells stories that have jokes in them. You know what I mean? Like, he was having a conversation. He was talking about having a conversation about race, with his young daughter. And, you know, within that, he talks about how, like, you know, he's not trying to sugarcoat the world to his kids. And then there's a joke there. He talks about the uncomfortable nature of him being a white guy, you know, knowing that he has none of the qualifications to really contextualize this, but he's trying to do his best to be a better father, and then the humor in there. And then there's also the humor in the response of his child, you know, who is just, everything's new to her. And like, you know, she has this like really intense reaction where she's like, are they going to kill us?
Yeah.
And he's like, he's trying to quell the fear in his daughter, because she, you know, she's taking in all of this like intense history at a very young age. And he's like, you know, it would be justified, but no, we just have to try and be better and understand, like, you know, and it ends on this really, you know, pretty decent note of him being like, no, we just have to, you know, understand, you know, our place in this situation. And I think it's really interesting. It's also pretty interesting because, like, I think I'm not gonna, because just based on some of the context of his show and like, I believe his mom's name was like Juanita.
Yeah.
And like, I think he might have some like Latino or Spanish something going on, but he like very much talks about how he is he's a white dude. He's a fucking blonde white guy.
Yeah.
And that's I don't know, that's a level of like, there's an awareness there, but like the whole point of the thing is like, I like long form shit. You know what I mean? Like there are little witty punchlines inside the story, but like you're like this joke, like from point A to point B, you're listening to him for like 10 fucking minutes before he gets to the end of the story. Yeah.
But it's not dragging on the same joke. I think that's kind of where I don't like it. You know, like it can be a story because, like, yeah, that bat story by Louis C.K., it took about 10 minutes, but like there's a joke here, and then it moves on. You know what I mean? Not specifically to a different story, but yeah. You ever watch This Is Not Happening?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that series on YouTube.
Yeah.
That I really like. Like I like listening to that one, or like Bert Kreischer's like The Machine story.
Mm-hmm.
Like that one's great, you know. But it doesn't like drag on the same idea for too long. I think that's kind of where, you know.
Well, I mean, listen,
maybe I'm wrong.
We're also
maybe I'm
comparing. Maybe, but we could also be comparing fucking apples to oranges at this point. You know what I mean? Like, or like apples to fucking antelopes.
Boomerism mentality.
Right. Not even like mentality, but just more so like the okay.
No, keep talking.
Yeah. Sorry, I just got distracted. Fucking just the like if we're gonna, it's kind of different to compare, comedians with experience, fucking telling their jokes and whatnot, where they like plan and write and burn through whatnot, and then compare it to like amateur meme humor. You know what I mean? That's
you are absolutely right.
And it's just, I think it might just be like a question of like, hey man, fucking, who knows? Some people.
Who
there's a lot
knows?
of really, really funny. Who fucking knows? No, there's a lot of, I see for like from my view of like what's going on TikTok and like content and whatnot, I see a lot of like really poignant, punchy shit that doesn't drag on too long. Like there are really some seriously like talented storytellers who take that 1 minute and find a way to like create a very engaging experience, where I'm like, holy shit, that was only 60 seconds.
Yeah.
I feel like I just went on a journey. How did you do that?
Yeah, sometimes I feel like when I'm watching like something, I'm like that went on for a minute. Like I get that it was actually a full minute, but I'm like, that went on for what feels like way longer than a minute. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, I totally get that. Hey, so we're like 50 minutes in. You want to?
We should talk about something.
Yeah, I mean we have been, but hey, so let's talk about the Chaz. That's like really interesting.
Chaz, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone.
Chaz, dude.
Bro, the fucking listen. You got your virgin libertarians, pissing and moaning about you can't just like set up an autonomous zone, and then the Chaz. Yes, we can.
Oh, that's a meme that I love, is like reusing that old PC Master Race one of like the face, like the Roman archetype face or whatever.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this raging face, like no, like there was one for like Bernie or whatever once that was just like we need nationalized healthcare or whatever, and they're like, no, that's communism. It's like, well, my ideas are more like capitalist Norway, Scandinavian countries, and oh god, I don't remember it, but basically, yeah, there the last one was like this Roman face of him going like, yes, okay, good. So that's a it's a huge meme I love, and that's definitely like what Minneapolis City Council is like you can't defund the police, like who are you gonna call for a bank robbery, blah blah blah, like you can't do that, and then they're just like, yes we can,
yes we can, yes we did.
Yeah,
I'm looking,
and it's like, oh my god, there was a thought I had the other day where I saw this guy who lived in Arizona, right, complaining about the Minneapolis City Council voting to defund the police, right? And my thought was just like, why do you give a shit if a city like 1,000 miles away from you tries something different?
Right.
And if it doesn't work, who the fuck cares? Because you're not there.
Exactly.
Like, obviously, it doesn't work,
Right.
It's like that saying of like, the definition of insanity is trying the same thing again and again, expecting different results.
Yes.
Exactly. At this point, everyone's like, oh, well, obviously reform is necessary. And then when we try to implement reform, they're like, oh, you can't do that. That's too crazy. That's radical. Excuse me.
No. Like,
what else are we supposed to do? Oh, well, you got to train them. No. Like,
dude, we've tried it. We keep trying. We keep.
Yeah. The cop that shot Rayshard Brooks had just finished a 9-hour de-escalation course not 2 months prior to that. And you think a scenario where a guy falls asleep in a Wendy's drive-thru and it escalates to the point of you needing to shoot him in the back as he ran?
Mm-hmm.
It's very clear, and we have to stop pushing this myth that training is the issue, because it's not.
It's not the issue. No, because like,
sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, training. Hold on. Not to split hairs, but training is the issue. It's also the type of training that they get that what's the word I'm looking for? Overshadows any sensitivity or de-escalation training that they do, which is like the warrior training. John Oliver did a really nice piece about like, you know, police and you know, the type of methodology that goes behind you know, their style of protecting and serving, and it's very, very much a hyper defensive, you know, like everyone's your enemy, everyone's out to get you. You need to be ready to defend your life every time you step outside. And when it's like, no, you're going to be making traffic stops, bro. You're going to be telling people to like go get their taillights changed. Like no one's out to get you.
Yeah. And like
the majority of what you do is not stopping violent crime. They're actually very ineffective at that. Like when it comes to burglaries, robberies, fucking sexual violent crimes, like the efficacy in the numbers isn't there to like denote that any sort of like shift, like just slightly shifting the current paradigms is going to do anything, because it's not working. We keep throwing money at them and responsibility at the cops that really shouldn't be handled with the type of you know, methodology that they go into. And it's like we need a new system, because at almost like every level, from the police to the courts, has a significant bias against African Americans and and anyone who isn't a white dude.
Yeah. I guess what I meant was by training is not the issue is you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, exactly.
The system as it currently stands is not reformable. And, you know, I said this in a Facebook post, but it's like when your justice system was built to be racist, biased, and oppressive, it means that system can't be fixed. A new system is necessary. So that's what I meant. Obviously training is the issue, and cops would need a completely different set of training, but it's not, you can't take the current set of what there is and then just change that and expect it to act differently.
Yeah, you can't just keep like piling on shit and expect like things to change.
It's gonna complicate the issue. And, you know, to add on to what you said, also, you know, my friend, the one I talk about very frequently on here, is he made it through a lot of the rounds of exams and stuff like that for the Pennsylvania State Troopers. And he was talking about how the PA State Troopers are trained like military, and they're trained by military. Like you basically go and you spend time in like a boot camp.
Yeah.
And that's not how we should be training police who are going to be pulling people over on the side of the highway. They're state troopers.
Yeah. No. They're safety fucking servants.
Yeah, and you know, the police don't exist to prevent harm. They don't have an obligation to prevent harm or protect you.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to turn on my air conditioner and then use the bathroom.
You're good. I'm just going to keep talking.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they don't have an obligation to do that. The Supreme Court has already ruled such things. They don't have an obligation to do that. And they don't prevent crime. They punish it. And they often punish the wrong people, or they excessively punish people for minor infractions. You know, one being, oh my God, like let's talk about George Floyd, right? You know, he gets accused of allegedly attempting to use a counterfeit $20 bill. Think about that. $20 in the grand scheme of things is the smallest amount of money. And then you have a set of cops who are so fucking bad at their jobs and so fucking bad at de-escalation that it turns into a scenario where you are kneeling on a man's neck for 8 minutes while he says he cannot breathe, he gasps for air, calls out for his mother, and then eventually passes. It's not reformable. You know, Rayshard Brooks is not reformable. Uh, Breonna Taylor, not reformable. Tatiana Jefferson, not reformable. Tamir Rice, not reformable. Also, yesterday would have been Tamir Rice's 18th birthday. Okay. He was 12 years old in a public park playing with a toy gun. And
so even like,
did you hear what I was saying, or were you? Because I was just rambling.
Oh, I heard everything. I heard everything
sick.
you were saying. So yeah, because I got the Bluetooth, baby.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Anyway, but to further onto your what you were saying, especially in the case of George Floyd, specifically Derek Chauvin, the officer mainly involved in his passing, was that dude had like 20 other previous infractions of that kind of behavior beforehand. Dude was just shuffled around from department to department, and that's what they do with these guys. Like, that's what the system is right now. It's not a level of like, oh, you did wrong. Here's an actual punishment. It's like, here's a paid vacation. We're going to move you around a little bit. We're going to put you in a different department, and you're not going to, hopefully you won't do the same thing, despite the fact that you've faced virtually no punitive measures. And that's I don't I don't see how people can sit here with those facts in mind, and like, argue that the system isn't, or like that the system is broken, but that we can slowly chip away at the reform, and the slow reform is really nothing more than a quelling of the necessary actions that needs to be taken to really deal with this at a systemic level.
Yeah, and the problem is the system protects these people, so you can't you can't take them away if this the system is still inherently bad. And there was that Florida police chief that said, "Hey, if any police get fired for acts of brutality, come down here, I'll hire you."
Jesus.
Oh yeah, you didn't read that. It was in Florida somewhere. He was like, I think it was in regards to the Buffalo police officers who pushed that old man down and concussed him. They were like, "Hey, if you guys if anyone ends up getting fired for this kind of stuff, just come down to Florida and we'll hire you." By the way, you're freezing up a little bit. I don't think it's affecting your audio that much, but your video is like freezing like every couple seconds. Oh, it looks like it just. The audio sounds like it switched to your headphones. Can you say some stuff?
Hello.
Oh, okay. Sounds fine. I don't know. Weird. All right.
Yeah. I'll exit out of a few things that are running right now.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's, we have slightly different looks at, how this would be achieved.
Right.
The way I see it is, abolishment is still my end goal, what I view to be the end goal. But absolutely. I feel like defunding is just the first step here.
Yeah, I think that a bit of my political philosophy that I'd like to push forth to other lefties. Ask higher. Okay? Ask higher. The numbers are there for us to ask for more. Especially when it comes to the defunding the police situation, because if we my end goal is abolishment, right? However, I don't see that as a absolutely realistic goal within, say, the next 5 years. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We do need a transitional stage to get to abolishment, and that starts with defunding. But the language I'm going to continue to use and continue to negotiate with is going to be abolishment, because if I don't give them the satisfaction of giving them a wiggle room, then a more realistic goal is in my hands. Fuck a fight for $15 an hour. No, 25, baby. We should all at the very minimum be making $25 an hour, because these companies can all afford it. The wages of the working class have not gone up. You know what I mean? And the productivity and the amount of money that goes to shareholders and CEOs has risen exponentially. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? We can ask higher when it comes to defunding the police. We can ask to abolish, because if we continue to ask for abolishment, they'll be like, all right, well, we'll defund this. Are you satisfied now? No, man, abolish the police. Well, we're going to do this thing now and put this money, you know, X amount of dollars from the police budget into these community things so that we can actually address things at the root problem. Not enough, abolish the police, right? And then after a while, it's just like, fuck, all right, well, they're gone now.
Yeah, or, you know, so much change has been implemented that abolishment doesn't seem so radical anymore.
Exactly.
It's like when you get a job and they ask you what your desired salary is. Mm-hmm. You always put way higher than what you want to make, so we can compromise on what you originally wanted.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. No, I definitely agree. And I guess yeah. So, you know, I view defunding as the first step, but I'm absolutely fine with demanding abolishment, so the defunding process can start. And you know, I had a conversation with someone the other day who was just like, defunding is fucking stupid. What if there's a bank robbery? We're going to send a social worker? And I'm like, no, you fucking moron. We would still send the cops.
Who robs a bank in 2020? It's not the 19 goddamn 50s, dude. Like, what?
Yeah, dressed up like they're going to church in Atlanta with the fucking Tommy guns. Yeah, no one robs banks anymore, dude. No one robs banks anymore. They get you to buy fake crypto.
Man.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah, they get you to fucking buy fake cryptocurrency. That's how they fucking do that shit now. Or they fucking steal your credit card stripe. No one fucking robs a bank. It's a hyperbolic notion of what a real crime is. Now everyone's like, oh, well, what if they murdered 20 people? And I'm like, you know, they could always just like, I don't know, like punch someone. I don't know. Like, why is it got to be at 100?
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's like, oh, well, if there's a bank robbery, we're going to send a social worker. That's so dumb. And I'm like, no, you fucking moron. Oh, like, dude, who is actually that dumb? Like, who's actually that dumb? No, you would still send the cops. Defunding means that if you have a scenario where someone needs a welfare check, like Rayshard Brooks, you know, falling asleep in a Wendy's drive-thru, is an armed police officer wouldn't be the one to show up.
Right.
Like, fucking moron. Or like, you know, a woman reports a rape case, which, by the way, the police never fucking give a shit about anyway. You know, yep. You would be able to send like a caregiver, therapist, social worker, you know, who could like help them file a report to try and track this down. We would have more money to test rape kits, and then you would have a scenario where someone could get therapy for what happened to them.
Exactly. And even when it comes to like domestic violence, I think it's like one in 6 women who have called the police in matters of domestic violence have felt safe, have felt safer, you know, in dealing with the police. But 1/3 of women that have reported, you know, domestic violence to the police have and basically said that they felt less safe, and the fear of escalation because the police were called was very likely. Yeah, I got to find the study and the thing, but it's just like they when it comes to like people getting their shit kicked in, the cops don't give a fuck. But you know, how dare you burn down Starbucks?
Yeah. That statistic of 1 in 3 women feeling less safe, it might be because 40% of police officers are domestic abusers.
Only 40% of them are reported.
Yeah. Oh my God, I had to have a conversation with someone else the other day also. It was like, dude, crime statistics and fucking shit like that, you can never use it. You can never use it to prove a point because it's only based on what's reported. And he's like, you know why, like violent crime numbers for like lower income areas seem so amazingly higher? It's because those areas are over policed. So you're getting more reports out of this area. And now I'm not arguing that a rich suburban neighborhood would have the same level of violent crime. But what I'm saying is we don't actually know what the ratio and disparity is because those areas don't have high police presence.
Yeah.
And it's like the catch-22 with stop and frisk. And my cousin, who's a former cop, he was an Army Ranger, and he's a former cop. Now he's a social worker. He's like, I finally feel like I'm doing something. Now I'm a social worker. Right. He was a beat cop in Harlem for 10 years. And he did stop and frisk in New York. Like, he was ordered to do that. Yeah. And basically the conversation that went down was, hey, we're finding drugs we're having more cases of finding drugs on black and brown people, so stop more black and brown people.
Right.
And it's like, well, yeah, that's why you're finding more drugs, because you're stopping them at a higher tick, Oh
yeah, I mean, when it comes to the numbers of like drug usage rates, black and white Americans are virtually the same. Yeah. However, more black folks are stopped for those kinds of infractions more frequently, despite the higher the higher, like, the more I can't speak English. It is more likely to find paraphernalia and contraband of that nature on white people.
It's because they feel safer about it.
Yeah.
Black and brown people specifically don't carry it on them or do things like that because they know that the cops have a tendency to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
And So he talked a lot about stop and frisk, and he talked about the nature of the police. He like that article, Confessions of a Former Bastard Cop, fantastic, long read, fantastic. If you haven't read it, definitely read it. And he got let go from his department, what the equivalent to dishonorably discharged would be, in a scenario because they had a man as a suspect on the ground. It was him and another cop from his precinct, but not his like immediate circle, or what you would call like squad. I don't know enough about cops for that. And the man had been accused of stealing formula from a CVS, baby formula from a CVS. Didn't have anything on him, hands behind his back, with the zip tie, right?
Right.
And the cop kicked the man in the head with a steel-toed boot.
Jesus.
And then pulled out the flashlight like he was going to beat him with the heavy metal flashlights that cops have. My cousin grabs the other cop, puts him in a chokehold, and pulls back as the man is kneeled over the other guy. So he's like, my cousin's like on his back with the other guy on top of him, holding him like this. And he's choking him. And then, of course, like 5 other cops rush in, they pull him apart, blah, blah, blah. And then he gets accused of assaulting another officer.
Jesus.
So basically, he gets kicked out. And, he talked about, the gang nature of the police and how, like, his partner of 8 years, who he was the best man at his partner's wedding, didn't stand up for him and didn't say anything. It's good cops don't last.
They don't. I mean, you've got what's that guy's fucking name? I looked him up the other day, but there was another New York City cop who tried to report some shit. And they they put him in a mental hospital.
Oh yeah. Shit.
His name is escaping me right now, but like,
I remember reading about that recently.
He was like, yo, there's all this misconduct. Like, bro, I'm going to be Serpico and I'm going to stop the corruption. And they were like, haha, this is actually Shutter Island, not Serpico. So you're getting locked up and we're going to tell everyone you're fucking crazy. And then he sued them for like $5 million and settled for about $600,000. And no one fucking knows about it.
Yeah. It's their, they're too strong. And, the propaganda and the level of influence that the police and like the police unions have on the public too is, like we can laugh at that speech from the police union who's like, stop treating us like this. there's a war on cops. You know, we're like, haha, this is kind of funny and dumb, and they're idiots. But you look at regular Karen and Kevin, you know, in their suburban home, and they're like, dude, there's a war on cops. Everyone hates cops, you know?
Right.
Like, you know, I have people that are like, oh, it's a high, you know, it's a dangerous job, and blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, it's not even close to being it's nowhere near close to being the most. Yeah, pizza delivery drivers are more in danger every time they leave their store than a cop is. And
pizza lives matter. Pizza
lives matter, man. They do, because they're fucking underpaid. I was a pizza delivery driver for 2 years.
All jobs matter.
When I was out of the store and delivering, I made $2.14 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, "Oh, you make that up in tips." Yeah, and like, I mean, how much money do you tip a pizza delivery driver? I mean, me, yeah, a pretty good amount because I used to do it. But most people,
right,
dude, I used to drive like 7 miles, through traffic to get this shit to this person, and then they would hand me $2 in ones.
Right.
You know, I'd be out of the store for an hour and a half, and I've made $6.
Yep. Oh, dude, I remember at one point, some place was I was getting paid like $7-8 an hour to work at this coffee shop, and they're like, "Oh, and you get tips," and I'm like, "Dude, no one ever fucking comes in here, and most of the time they tip like $1, and I have to split it with the other person that works here, so we're both walking out here with an extra $3. Woohoo!
Ooh, yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, they even said that.
An hour.
They even said that at Starbucks. They're like, "Oh, and you guys get to split tips," because I was making $8 an hour there, $8.40, and holy dude, I'll never work there again. Not because they suck. I mean, they do suck, but also because like that I didn't get paid enough money for how much like fucking physical labor I had to put in and stand on my feet for like 8 hours a day. But yeah, like, oh yeah, and you get tips. I'm like, we split like the equivalent of $1.50 per person here a day. Like what?
Yeah, that's not tips.
Also, because there's like 5 people working here at a time.
Right.
You know, but that doesn't change how many tips we get. So no, that doesn't count. Yeah, so I would I applaud anyone who works in retail and food service because that shit is it's literally exhausting. And oh my god, I had been yelled at and screamed at so many times. I luckily never had anything thrown at me. I know people who had hot beverages thrown back at them for being made wrong or like ignoring like I asked for soy and it's just like and you put almond in and it's like, well, your fucking what do you call it? Your sticker here that you put in from your phone says soy. So like, that kind of shit. I had a woman who like screamed at me because she's just like, she and her husband had identical orders except hers was decaf and his wasn't, right?
Uh-huh.
And I looked at the markings very quickly because we were in a rush, and I just made the same drink twice, which had caffeine, right? And then she was just like, "Is this decaf?" Right? And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I messed up." And then she got really angry. She's like, "What if it happened if I had drank this? I can't have caffeine, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "You realize that decaf isn't no caffeine, right? It's just like less caffeine."
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say that to her, but she's like, "I demand someone else drink make this. Like, I don't want you near my drink, blah blah blah." I'm like,
oh. All right, dude.
And people are like, "Well, how do you expect cops to not shoot someone if they're yelling in their face or to whatever?" And I'm like, have you been a server? Have you worked in retail? Have you had an old white lady try to return a product that they didn't buy from you?
Right.
9 months later.
Oh, dude, one of my
after
favorites.
It's been warned and had like thrown up on or something like that. Because I had that when I worked at PacSun too. I had a woman try to return something that wasn't bought at PacSun that was a year old that her kid actually fucking doo-dooed it.
Ew.
Yeah. And she's just like, and she was just like, "I want to return this." I'm like, "That's not a PacSun product. And there's no tags." She's like, "I bought it a year ago."
Yeah, it's not time. It's done.
Yeah. And I'm like, "Is that a poop stain?"
When I worked in retail, I once had a lady. I finished like getting her shoes and like I put this outfit together for her. I think I was working at either Zoomies or Journeys at the time, finishing checking her out. It's right around Christmas time. And hey, no. It's right around Christmas time. And I hand her her receipt, and she looks at me dead in my eyes and goes, "You're going to hell." What the fuck did I do? I'm like 17. I'm kind of chubby and really short, and I'm just like already insecure, and now I know I'm going to hell because this random bitch is just like, "Hey, fuck you." I remember once there was this guy when I was working at Ubik. He would come in all the time. Or not all the time, but like he would come in pretty like regularly enough that like the other people knew. But he was the only person in the store, and no one else wanted to help this guy because they know what he does. So he asked for his size in a shoe. I go and get him the shoe. He's like, "Hey, get me the other size. Let me try that on. Half a size bigger." So getting the other one. All right, cool. I'm gonna grab these. These are perfect. But wait, there's like a weird glue stain on them. Can you check and see if there's another 9? And I was like, I looked and there's nothing there, but I'm like, customer's always right. So I go walk back down the stairs into the basement, go all the way back to where the shoe was, go and find the other 9, make sure that we have another pair and a 9, come back up, give him the other pair. Oh man, the other ones kind of felt better. Let me try on the 8.5 one more time. Go back down. Boom. All right, bro, I'm going to take these, put them behind the counter for me. I'm just going to go to my car and get my wallet.
He would leave?
He left the store and didn't come back.
What's the point of that? I don't know why I'm asking. But
it's like, hey, guess what? Do you want to? I know there's no one in the store right now, and I need the attention. I haven't interacted with a human forever, so I'm gonna make you do these things because I'm a piece of shit.
Holy shit, dude! Play some fucking Xbox.
Right? Like, go download Candy Crush. Leave markers alone.
Play Words with Friends, dude.
Raid Legends.
Raid Shadow Legends. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. They didn't sponsor us, but
they will now.
They will. You better. The graphics on this are amazing.
Dude, you can just put it on auto mode and level up and not actually have to play the game.
That's hilarious. Talking about retail and shit. This reminded me of that like Chris Rock segment where he's just like, "Oh, it's not all cops. It's just some bad apples." Like, well, some professions can't afford to have bad apples, like pilots.
No.
Hi, thanks for flying Delta. Most of our pilots are good, and they like to land. Some of them like to crash into mountains. Just a few bad apples. It's like that. I thought about all the jobs I've had, where it's like most of our baristas here at Starbucks are good. There's just a few bad apples like to shit in the coffee.
Yeah,
it's like
it's just a couple. Every once in a while, you get a little doo-doo in your coffee.
Ardsley Park. Me and Nate, I'm plugging this right now. Me and Nate's webcomic, it's going to be coming back. It's called Ardsley Park. We're in the middle of an arc right now called the Shit Saga. It is a war between 2 coffee companies. That's Shitbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. And there's a literal war going on. The powers, the shit coffee gives you superpowers and turns you into like a metahuman with like giant like claw arms and shit. So that's currently what's happening. It started from an old comic that we did in the beginning called Shit Coffee, where I'm at a coffee shop. The waiter brings me the coffee or whatever. He's like, "Here's your coffee." I'm like, "Cool." And I drink it. I'm like, "Yo, what's this in my coffee?" And the waiter's just like, "Oh, it's my shit." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, bro, it's my shit. I just couldn't help it." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, that'll be like $11." So Shit Coffee. I'm plugging Ardsley Park right now.
Read Ardsley Park.
Yeah.
I haven't yet, but I will.
Yeah, but it's also like I think about like again like all the jobs I've had like as a pizza delivery driver. You know what I mean? It's like yeah, most of our pizza delivery drivers are good. We just have a few bad apples that like to drive their car into your fucking house.
Dude, I remember like I used to work at Zoomies, and like it was the weirdest fucking thing because like Zoomies has that like, hey, yeah, man, what's up? We're like chill and everything. Hey, how you doing, man? Oh, that's lit bay, fam. You know what I'm saying? Squat up, dab, best friend. You're looking fly in those socks.
Oh God,
whip you up an outfit. Jesus Christ. Anyway, but yeah, fucking, you know, working there was like not. That is not the vibe.
it didn't pass the vibe check.
I did not, bro. Like regularly.
Buy diamond supply. How about some Supras?
Get some socks, bro.
God.
You didn't sell socks. Like every time, it wouldn't matter how big my fucking like sale was. I could sell a pair of shoes, jeans, shirt, and a jacket. They'd be like, "Yo, man, you didn't plug your socks." Or like,
sorry, bro.
I'm folding.
I'm not buying $20 socks from a skate shop. I'm going to Walmart and buying the 30-pack.
Right. Give me the tube socks, boy. But like, I remember once I was working on a display project. Like I was folding all the shirts in this way that like when you looked at the rack of shirts, the way they're folded, the graphic would be there all in folds. You know, I fucking love that shit. Like getting to like market things and like put things on display. That was super fun. Mm-hmm. I love that part of the job.
That's currently how I fold my shirts right now. Is I do the in and the down, so my whatever is like. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's that fucking display fold. But I remember doing that once, and I'm not facing the entrance. And this was an assignment. And my manager was like, "Yo, go do that thing and make it look cool." And I was like, "All right, bet. I'm making it look cool, and I'm focusing, right?" And people are like walking in. And my manager, who, you know, if I'm doing a project, I'm doing the menial labor right now. Like I'm focusing on this. I'm not looking. You should be greeting. And he comes up to me from behind me and he's like, "Listen, bro, if you just want to work on projects all day and not greet customers, you can do that. But we sell shit here." I'm like, "You told me to do this. I'm doing what do you want from me? I'm here, shadow clone jutsu, bitch. Like, what?"
I'm amazed you have that fucking memorized.
I did. No, that's just bro. This is. I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, I thought you had the shadow because I've got like fucking Nate has the fucking cheatery memorized. I don't know it, but it's like Yeah, I don't know, dude.
I think it's here, and then that's the Chidori.
Has anyone ever used the Chidori fucking hand signals to turn into like a tut?
I can't. Usually, I'd be able to figure that out because like nerd dance references is right in the apex of my knowledge. But I think I know someone who's done that. I'm gonna send the video and then.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, but no, working retail fucking blows. It's gotta have been like the worst thing I ever did. I worked at PacSun and I worked at Aldo and I worked at Kohan. Oh my god, the worst fucking thing is like, oh, your store is pristine and there's nothing for you to do. All right, cool. I'm gonna just stand here by the fucking entrance, right?
Yeah.
And then when someone walks in and be like, "Hey, welcome to," I'm just looking. Okay. Hi, welcome to. I'm just looking. Okay. You know. And also like, oh my god, when I worked at fucking Aldo, my manager would base my hours on the dollar amount of sales that anyone would have for the week, right? How am I supposed to make more dollar amount of sales when I'm always in fucking clearance?
Right.
So she'll be like, "Oh, well, you only sold $100 something." I'm like, "Yeah, but that's like 5 units." That's right. And so made twice that with 2 units because they sold new shoes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I don't know. Those are like the kinds of like retail is definitely one of those jobs where like dude, you can't slack off. You got to stand. Like, I can't do those kinds of jobs. I can't just like stand there and be like at a fucking attention, you know.
It's so weird. Like the commission system that a lot of those places operate under, because they're all sort of different. Like Zoomies was like, I remember working at Zoomies, and it was based on like the dollar amount and also the unit amount. With Finish Line, when I worked there, it was just about the dollar amount. When it was Journeys, it really didn't matter what the dollar amount was. If you're selling multiple items, that was the key, you know. And like when I worked at Ubik, very, very similar thing. But like it gets like super like weird, like crazy competitive about things. Like I remember at one point I was literally helping a customer for like 45 minutes, and like he was in the middle of being wrung out, and he was like, "Oh, actually, can you grab me a different size?" And then the cashier went down, like grabbed the different size, and then instead of it being my sale, because they did it, they entered their number and it became their numbers. And that kind of shit would happen like all the time, or like all of a sudden they're like, "No, that's my customer." And it's like, dude, we're working retail. We're selling shoes. Like,
yeah. I mean, I literally had a better time selling cars than I did selling retail.
mm-hmm.
Because, like, shit, if there wasn't a customer, then I would be, I would make the appropriate number of phone calls you had to make for the day. And then I'd watch fucking PUBG live streams or YouTube. And I made way more money selling cars. You know, yeah, the hours kind of blow. I mean, when you're near the end of the month, you might work like a 70-hour week, you know? Mm-hmm. But, like, if you're just, like, marginally good at it, like, marginally, like, not even, like, a top performer, but, like, marginally, I mean, you make, like, $50K a year.
Jesus.
Yeah. You just have to be willing to, you know, just do all that shit. And, like, you don't even have to be underhanded about it. Like, mm-hmm. You know, there's this societal view that car salespeople are like seedy and shady and like blah blah blah. If you buy from a dealership that is attached to a manufacturer, like a Honda dealership or like something like that, there's laws in place and policies by those manufacturers that like there's a lot of shit that you can't do, like you can't get away with anymore, because like they don't, because those manufacturers don't want a negative connotation attached to their brand.
Right.
So, you know, and they want the ability for you to sell new cars.
Mm-hmm. So
they don't want you being a shitty dealership.
Exactly.
So, but if you go to like Jim's fucking car lot down on the street, then he's gonna do whatever the fuck he fucking does. You know. Mm-hmm. So, if for all my people out there, if you're in the market for a used car, always go to a dealership that's attached to a manufacturer, and always buy certified. Also, if you can. Mm-hmm. Because you get guarantees. Like, what's one of the better ones? I sold Chevys, and Chevys was you got an extended bumper-to-bumper warranty. Mm-hmm. So the natural bumper-to-bumper warranty was 3 years, 36,000 miles, and the drivetrain warranty was 5 years, 60,000 miles. If you bought certified, your bumper-to-bumper went to 5 years, 60, but from the original date, not the date of purchase, from the date the car was originally sold. Mm-hmm. From that date, and then your bumper-to-bumper went to 6 years, 100,000 miles. Your powertrain. I think I said bumper-to-bumper. I meant powertrain. So yeah, always buy certified, especially if you're buying a used car. And also, new cars are a waste of fucking money.
They are.
I have 2 new cars in my house. Well, not new anymore. They're 3 years old, but we bought them new. One was a lease and one was bought new. But yeah, you don't actually need to do that, and you probably shouldn't. Buying 1 to 2 years old within 3 years is the best time to buy a car, because they're low mileage, but they've lost most of their value over the course of those 1 to 2 to 3 years. And then there are brands that become really cheap too. So if you're just in need of a vehicle in general, and you want something that's like fairly new, but it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, something like Nissan is like really fucking cheap. Like you can get a year-old Nissan Versa Note, which is like the small hatchback, which normally retails for like 14 to 15,000. You can get one that's a year old with less than 5,000 miles on it for like less than 10K.
Wow.
Yeah. And like, yeah, they're not a great car, but like they're great for people who live in the city and who just need a vehicle because they're a hatchback and you can fold all the seats flat. And you can park easily because they're small. So, hey.
Boom.
Yeah, this just turned into car hour. We were supposed to talk about the Chaz and we're an hour and a half in.
Oh God. Well, I mean, we've talked a bit about like, you know, police reform and abolishment and our opinions. We kind of just derailed into fucking.
That's fine. That's the point. That's how we managed to use up all the time. Just a little bit on the Chaz is outside perspective of a lot of the Kevins and Karens. I'm calling them that now because it's is like it's just lawless zone. It's like Mad Max. People are dying, and there's just like rape and orgies everywhere, and like Satanism and just this dumb shit. And meanwhile, you walk in there, nothing's fucking different. Businesses are open, banks are open. Literally nothing is different. There's a fucking farmer's market.
Yep. There's like a community garden. There's like art and stuff happening.
But like all the businesses are still open there. It's just like, oh yeah, there's just like happens to be like no police presence. And there's also like no major crime whatsoever.
Actually, there's a guy on TikTok. His @ is Pragmatic Ideals. He lives in the area and consistently like goes to the Seattle protests and like does like independent reporting on the situation down there. So if you'd like to get a better idea, he's one of the many people on TikTok who is making content about the Chaz Zone.
I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Yeah, but there was a poorly reported on shooting that happened a few days ago or like yesterday or something, and a lot of the reports from the ground are that, you know, the shots were coming from some unmarked like vehicle that drove up from the outside and was like starting shit. But there's a lot of media saying that like the shooting came from within and that, like, you know, trying to push the narrative of like, you know, like you were saying, the sort of lawless, violent recklessness that people are expecting to happen in a you know, no police zone, but it's not really the case. Exactly. People are kind of chilling. Yeah.
And so there's been, from what I looked at, there's been 3 shootings so far. And they were all originally reported by news sources to have happened inside the Chaz.
Gotcha.
And then later had to be fixed because they happened outside but nearby. But they have, you know, they're doing this intentionally because they want it to, you know, they want it to seem like, they want to turn public opinion against it. So once they send the fucking tanks in to take it back, then there won't be any dissent from anyone else.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the Chaz is like this small
manufacturing consent.
You know, the Chaz is like this small little neighborhood that is the ideal of people like us who are, you know, anarcho-communists that believe in a non-hierarchical society where everything's communal and everyone's, what's the best word?
Chilling.
Literally just vibing, dude. Just working. Like, oh my God, I read this great tweet where it's just like, our species was literally supposed to be just fucking like berry gatherers, and y'all wanted to turn this into a capitalist society. You know, and now I gotta fucking work at Burger King. Like, fuck you, dude.
Right. Fuck you guys. We were vibing, just making art and like, you know, following fish and bison and like, you know, the weather and shit. And now we're just like, hey man, let's make this big ass gray and glass building and, you know, pump some poison into the air so we can't make food anymore.
Yeah. Before it was like, oh yeah, let's catch some fish.
Oh, hold on.
Let's paint on some walls, dude.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Let's grow some fucking veggies and make some stew. Like, it's going to be sick. And we're all just going to hang out Oh,
Hold
what's
on.
up?
I can't hear anything you're saying.
Oh shit. What about now?
Say something.
Yada yada yada. Habuba habuba habuba.
That's so weird.
Cock.
I can hear. Well, I can hear you now through my regular speaker, but my
Did your Bluetooth headphones die? Like, are they out of battery?
no, they're at 70%. They just keep disconnecting.
Yeah, my AirPods are just having the same issue. I don't know what's up. Maybe Squadcast isn't the way to go. We'll figure it out. But
It could just be the tech itself. It's not
yeah.
a big deal.
So what I was saying is like, yeah, dude, like we were literally just vibing, just gathering berries, catching some fish, just hanging out, doing some fucking painting on some walls, some cave walls and shit. Growing some veggies, eating some stew. And then now I have to fucking go on fucking like Amazon. I'm like, what like brand of 1,000 fucking Chinese manufactured XLR cables should I buy? Or I go to the fucking store. I'm like, oh man, this dish cleaner or this dish cleaner? Which one should I spend the money that I spent 5 body hours on at a fucking job that pays me, like, could have had that shit. Now I gotta fucking pay a car note.
Right. Now I have to spend technically what was a half an hour of my life on toilet paper.
Pretty much, or a full hour, depending on how much toilet paper you buy.
Right.
I mean, if we're breaking down, if we're breaking down like man hours, I spend like fucking.
But we're
16 man hours on my car. It's like,
oh, God.
Come on, dude.
Come on, bro.
16 hours of my life. But yeah.
The what is it? What were we talking about? Fucking Chaz.
Yeah.
So let's talk more about that, right? Because I think holy shit, it's 12 blocks. It's huge.
Yeah. Literally just a fucking vibe paradise, dude.
Mm-hmm.
If only we could like kick all the fucking Proud Boys out of Fishtown and
right, take over.
Or maybe we can make the neighborhood. I don't know. That's a nice area.
It is, but yeah, I mean, I think it's a really interesting concept, and I think that it's doing some good shit. I'm pretty sure it wasn't also in Chaz is in Seattle, correct?
Yeah.
Didn't they also stop the ports in Seattle? Where did they stop?
I have to look that up. Like the protests did?
Yeah, hold on.
Not in Seattle, I don't think. Oakland.
Okay.
Yeah. Juneteenth, protesting dock workers shut down Port of Oakland.
Yep.
But
like these are, I mean, that plus Chaz, like a lot of these things are really huge signifiers that collectively we have a huge amount of power. It's very like not to fucking kick a dead meme, but like when what was it, John Boyega is his name, the guy that played Finn. Yeah, he was like, guys, y'all remember when the ants realized that they fucking outnumbered the grasshoppers? Never mind.
Yeah. No, it's definitely the same. It's the same idea. And we even say that we've been saying that for years with voting too.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like we have the power to change? You think I'm only just one person, but
not if you're connected.
Yeah.
And I think that like to go back on the Gen Z conversation, they're realizing it. I saw a video of this verified TikTok like teen. I don't know, he's like 17, 18, whatever. And he started a petition to what's the word I'm looking for? Convince Fox News that Gen Z is trying to change the American flag to a black and yellow flag with the Manny on it. Like this just happened like a day ago, and they've already got close to 500, like the amount of signatures they need to get the petition started. Look it up.
I sent you the thing on TikTok about the guy who tried to convince someone, some conservative, that they're being like attacked by like witches.
Yes, Elijah Daniel, I think his name is.
I sent.
I followed that guy. I liked him a lot. I actually made a video making fun of a kid that he makes fun of pretty regularly, and people like tagged him in that video. But then it got taken down for violating community guidelines.
Yeah, Elijah Daniel, Tucker Carlson.
Yeah,
he convinced Tucker Carlson and the news that he was under attack by Polish witches.
Nice.
Fucking great, dude. It's collectivist action is all it is.
Exactly.
And that's all that's necessary. And that's, I think to wrap this up, because we're touched at an hour 45. I think, collectivist action is still currently underway. You're not hearing about it because the news is owned by the people who don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
But just yesterday, there was a 12,000 person demonstration in Philadelphia, and you probably didn't know about that. So, my door's opening.
Your door sounds like an elephant.
Yeah.
Hello. Small human. Why does she look like the ring girl? God damn.
Her hair's crazy right now because it hasn't been done.
Mm-hmm.
So 12,000 person demonstration in Philly. It's still happening in every city, every state. You're not hearing about it. Don't let it die. Don't let it die. Black lives still matter.
Exactly. I mean, we're doing like while a lot of this is surface level, these are good things that are happening. Like the Christopher Columbus statue is coming down. Different Confederate monuments are coming down. Like we are starting to see, people, collectively being like, no, we're not going to glorify these people anymore. We're not going to give credence to this sort of thought process and mindset, and honoring people in a very ahistorical manner that allows for this sort of like, twisted mindset that the Confederacy was anything other than fucking traitors, Yeah. And like, sorry to even further on that, because I think this constantly needs to be said because it has not been drilled into people's heads yet. Those monuments did not go up after the Civil War. They were put up as symbols of the Jim Crow era, and they were put up during the civil rights era to signify a strong disagreement and disapproval of furthering black liberation in the United States.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's very important that we recontextualize those things, even with stuff like, Mount Rushmore and the Founding Fathers. There is a lot of really like horrifying, disgusting shit that they all did. And that I think we need to be a little bit more realistic and accountable with the way that we speak about them and the way that we remember them.
Yeah. And I had someone tell me on TikTok the other day, you can't look at these things through the lens of the modern day because it was so long ago. I'm like, yeah, you can. Absolutely. You absolutely fucking can.
What?
So, so to end this segment, if you've been active on social media about Black Lives Matter and stuff like that, don't stop posting about it, because right now the media is they're not talking about it. So you guys have to be the voices. You have to keep the awareness up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thank you for tuning in to the Don't Panic podcast. We talked about a lot of random shit.
Yeah, it was kind of just like a lot of streams of consciousness, but I think we'll get more focused as we get this going.
I imagine it'll be pretty aimless, but at least conversations between us. When we have guests on, I think it manages to stay unless we're talking about skinny jeans and licorice legs.
Right.
But yeah, patreon.com. Don't Panic Podcast. Please consider supporting us. We are putting in a lot of time to this. I have spent money on equipment. And check us out. Highlights from last week will be going up on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Please check out Mikhail on TikTok at Comrade Jewel. This was actually kind of the start of this. This was actually, despite all of my organization, this was actually Mikhail's idea. So
I'm just the big picture guy, and you help put the meat on the skeleton. So we're like, this is very, very much this is a very collaborative effort, and Jed has put in a lot of work when it comes to like the editing and all of that. Like, so when it, if you can support us and you feel like supporting us, that would be fucking awesome, because this does take some time. We've got to keep our nose to the grindstone, stay informed, and make sure that we're analyzing things from as an objective standpoint as we can, being people that are not trained or educated in very heavily in like forms of like journalism and things like that. So, help us out so I can pay my rent and keep doing this.
Patreon. And at the very least, if you don't have money, because we're all broke millennials and Gen Zers, if you don't have money for that, please just at least consider sharing, liking, subscribing, sharing, sending it to your friends, and maybe not family if your family's racist. But we'll see where it goes.
Exactly.
All right.
Thanks for wasting your time with us.
Well, clocking out for now, and we'll see you next week.
Tune in.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right.